That we've been doing New Year's Rockin' Eve here on ABC. It has rained every year we've been in Times Square. Doesn't seem to dampen the spirits of the celebrants down below. And many years ago, that area down there was called Longacre Square. When the New York Times moved here in 1904, they rechristened it Times Square. It's an area several blocks long and wide between 7th and Broadway, between 42nd Street and 45th Street. And it's become a tradition over the last many years that people gather here on New Year's. The only year that ever had that small crowd was 1917. Tonight, it's a little smaller than usual, and they're a little wetter and colder than usual. Temperatures drop down now to 39 degrees, and in just a few moments, we'll be turning over to look at One Astor Plaza's viewpoint, and we'll swing up and look at the Allied Chemical Building where they'll drop that big 6-foot lighted ball. As it descends down a 100-foot flagpole, that will signify New Year's to an awful lot of people all over the United States and Canada. In the meantime, they're all huddled down there under the marquees with the noisemakers and the horns, and the police barricades are up. It's one of the few times when you can walk in the street in Times Square, and you would really hardly ever know that this is a cold and very rainy night in Times Square, New York City. Look at them down there. Wouldn't you just love to be there? You may say to yourself, why are they there? Very good question. I'm asking myself right this moment. It is a very unusual and a very strange way to celebrate New Year's. Moments from now, this giant crowd here in Times Square will turn their attention up to One Times Square, which is the chemical building, and up there they've continued the tradition of the dropping of the giant lighted ball. Years and years ago, it was on the Western Union building down in Wall Street. When the Times moved up here to Times Square, they sort of appropriated the ball. It used to drop at noontime every day. Tonight, when it drops, it will signify the brand new year of 1976. So if you'll hang on there, we'll jump on back to the Coconut Grove in Hollywood and return momentarily to Times Square for the ball drop. Just a few seconds ago, that 6-foot ball began to drop. There are 180 25-watt bulbs up there, and interestingly enough, they're being lowered by hand on a 100-foot flagpole. In just about 30 seconds from now, it will be 1976, and you'll hear a roar from this crowd in Times Square, a roar like you've never heard before. So here we go with the countdown. Coming down to the brand new year here in Times Square, New York City, the focal point of the brand new year of 1976. Happy New Year's Rockin' Eve!